When measuring and plotting, you got to make sure that you turn, again, the paper to be the same orientation as the photo. And then you mark all of your important spots. And so I would mark on the chin, maybe the bottom of the chin. I could guess for a while, maybe where the neck hits on the chin. I could guess this whole amount and put a dot up here. If that's too much guessing, you can put a dot right in between. I always put a dot on the corners of the eyes, the height of the eyes. You can put dots on the edges of whatever you want. I just wouldn't waste my time and go dot, 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 dot when I'm measuring and plotting. So now I look back at my paper and we're going 2 times the size because 2 of these fit in this way and 2 of these fit in perfectly that way, so that tells us 2 times the size. When measuring and plotting, I might start with the corner of the chin. I put the tip of the paper on the dot and I mark the edge of the page. This edge is this edge, that one is that one, this one is this one, and this one is that one. So then I come and I line this mark up anywhere on this same line. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but that's going to be okay. So it's somewhere right around there. So that mark is lined up. And then I mark the tip of the paper once, slide it up, line that up twice. On the second mark, I extend that dot, since we're doing 2 times the size, parallel to what I measured from. So I measured from this line, so parallel means it's going in the same exact direction. I can erase my first dot if I want to at this point. So we measured how high up it is. Now we have to measure how far in it is. You can cross off your old measurement, tip of the paper on the dot, mark the edge of the box. I know it's on this line somewhere, don't know where, so I'm going to just, anywhere is fine, it just has to be lined up. Tip of the paper, I make my first dot, line it up. On the second dot, I extend that parallel to what I measured from, which is this line. Now wherever these 2 marks that I made cross, that's exactly where that dot is going to be. I'm going to do the next dot somewhere on that chin and then play connect the dots. So I'll do one more. You're going to draw lightly so you don't have this line that won't erase. So now I'm going to go up. I can mark these off or turn my paper around. I'm going to go up to this dot right here. Tip of the paper on the dot, mark the edge of the box. Come over here and I go that distance once, that distance twice. On the second mark, I extend it parallel to what I measured from. So I measured from this line. So it goes horizontal and horizontal. So this is the one I just measured. Cross that off. Now I have to measure it from a different direction. I'm going to just measure it from this way because it's a shorter distance. I could have measured it from this way, and I'll show you the difference. So tip of the paper on the dot. I go that distance once. I go that distance twice. On the second mark, I extend it parallel to what I measured from, which is a vertical line this time. Wherever they cross, that's right where that dot is. Erase all of my excess. Now that I have 2 dots, I can play connect the dot. There's a little bit of a curve on the chin right there, and then it kind of flattens out. So I'm going to be pretty accurate on that. Now I'll show you what it looks like when I measure from a different side. If I was going to measure my 2 angles for this dot from the opposite sides, this is what it would look like. So tip of the paper on that dot, mark the edge. Now this time, since I marked it on this edge, I need to line it up on that same edge, which would be this one. 1, 2. On the second mark, I extend it out parallel to what I measured from, which is this line. And then I erase my mark. So basically what I had measured was that. Then I can measure from this edge to the dot and go that distance once, that distance twice. On this second mark, I extend it parallel to what I measured from, and that's right where that dot would be. So you can measure from this edge and this edge, or this edge and this edge. It doesn't matter. You just can't make your two measurements like from here to here and then your second measurement from there to here, because then you're measuring the same distance. So it has to be from these two sides or these two sides to find that dot. Then I would figure out what angle I have. It kind of goes like this. Again, you're drawing super light when you're doing this. Your contour should never show in the end. And then I would go to the next dot, which maybe would be somewhere over here, and then continue the process. If I was using a different paper, like this one, which was my 3x5 image, it fit on 3 times the size. When I make my measurement, I would go 1, 2, 3. I'd triple the distance because this fit on 3 times the size that way, 3 times that way.